Alright guys, welcome to this video tutorial on how to use Schoolbox to navigate cultural studies. So in this video, I'm going to show you how do I get into Schoolbox, how do I find what I am looking for my async working from home lessons. Okay, so let's jump into it. So what I've got in front of me here is the Schoolbox webpage. If you don't know how to get there, it is schoolbox.mex.vic.edu.au, and that'll bring you to the login page where you will need to put in your student ID and your student password. Okay, if you want it to remember you, you can click the Remember Me button and then hit Login, and then it should automatically sign you in. Okay. Now, when you go in, you'll get your dashboard, and there's a number of ways for you to reach cultural studies. The easiest way I find to do that is if you go up to these three dashes up here, it will bring up the side panel, and along the side panel, you'll see a list of all of your classes. You're going to go to cultural studies, to your particular class, and as you enter into cultural studies, the first thing you're going to see is a big tile saying cultural studies. Now, that is actually a link. Now, I can tell that's a link because my mouse is going to look like a little hand when I can, showing that I can actually click on it. If I click out of it, it will return back into an arrow point. And so that is what I am going to look for. Okay. Now this is my class page showing the number of students in the class and showing the slide to get you to the course page. Now I'm going to click onto the tile, allowing me to get onto the course page, and that will bring up each of the units for the year. You're going to go to term 2, place and livability. And as you enter into place and livability, it will ask you to find which week you would like to enter into. So find the relevant week that you are in and looking for the work for that week, and you'll be able to enter into that week. So I'm going to go into week 1, and in week 1, you're going to see the introduction to livability, the interview that some of you guys may have already gotten onto. And then on this section here, you're going to see a files section where all of the files that you will need for that week will be placed in the files section. After that, you're going to see each of the lesson outlines, and each lesson is designed to go for roughly 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and you'll be able to work through the lessons there. Okay, so you're going to start with week 1, lesson 1, work through the lesson. It'll give you instructions on what to do, and then you'll be able to access the files where relevant. You can see lesson 2 contains a PowerPoint that you'll be able to navigate your way through, right? And lesson 3, you will need to copy a table into your workbook, and then it will contain all the tasks that you will need to do and what you will need to hand in by the end of that week. Okay, so that was all of the lesson plans for week 1. If I want to go backwards, I click on the breadcrumbs at the top and it will take me back to where I need to go. And if I want to stay, for example, go into week 2, I can do that by hitting into week 2. And once again, you can see the general mapping of each of your lessons is written on the panel, and you'll see week 2, lesson 1, and each lesson has a series of tasks. Some of them will link to websites, and some of them will link to articles that you will need to read or PowerPoints that you need to go through. So all of those resources will be on one panel, and all of the lessons will be on the other panel. You can see here once again, week 2 each contains 3 lessons as well, and a section of files for you to access the points that you need to go to. Okay, now that is accessing content. Okay, so when we leave instructions for you to read through PowerPoints, read through articles, and answer questions in your book, that will be where you are going to find these files. If there is a need for you to submit your work, for example, submitting the interview that you guys may have just done recently, or any other piece of work that you might be getting in the future, the way that you can access this is if you go back into the sidebar and go back to your class page on the main page, you'll see that in your class page, there is a course outline, and underneath the term 2 course outline, you're going to see all of the assessments that you will need to submit for that particular unit. Okay, so you can see there week 1 interview is going to appear here. If there is work that we need you to submit that is outside of general notes in your exercise book, we are going to put those assessments here, and you'll be able to click into it and have a submission. So for example, if I click into week 1 interview, it will have nothing here, but you can click on create submission and it will allow you to make a submission of the interview that you've done with your parents or your grandparents. Okay, so this could be either a file that you need to submit, or a Word document, or a transcript, or whatever. They will ask you to create your submission there and submit your work. Okay, so that's how you're going to use Schoolbox for cultural studies. The same format will apply pretty much the entire way through this particular unit, and so we just want to make it easy for you to navigate. Okay, that's it from me. All right, we'll see you guys later.